63, One More Game podcast. Jay, Rocket Punch.
Rocket Punch is here.
Rocket Punch.
Yeah, we're here.
Rocket Punch is there. What's going on, guys?
Pretty good. Tired. Long week and it's only Tuesday. But you know we're
it is Tuesday. Yeah, I forgot about that fun fact.
Borderlands.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
You have Borderlands, you have Gears. That's a lot of game.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not one more game. That's a lot more game.
Yeah, that's like 1,000 more games.
1,000 more games.
Before we go too far, though, we've got to introduce the fellow podcasters we have here. We've been friends. The shows have been friends. I guess if we're talking just entities, the shows have been friends for, I think, a couple years now, actually. I think we've been kind of chatting back and forth for 2 years, maybe.
I want to say 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds about right. But we have chatted back and forth over years. We've worked with Rocket Punch for their charity event, which we are going to talk about here soon, Extra Life, and share ideas back and forth. They help me with a lot of stuff when it comes to like the post stuff and get ideas off them. Really good group of guys who have a wonderful community. Thrilled that, they brought it to us. Hey, let's do like a podcast together. And I was like, yeah, of course. We've just been trying to do this for a year now. Stars aligned. We're here. Fellas, introduce yourselves.
Oh, I get to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Cameron. I'm one half of the Rocket Punch team, as we like to say here. One of the founding members of Rocket Punch since we've been doing this since 2015. Yep. December 2015. So been at it for a little while. You may do your part.
I'm also one of the founding members of Rocket Punch. We were both on episode 1.
We were
actually in the pre-episodes around the Yeti mic.
Those were good times.
The Yeti mic, but not the Yeti cup. Because when you say Yeti, you got to be very explicit. We're not talking about an $80 mug. We're talking about a microphone.
No. Not this time. It was a Yeti Blue.
Yeah.
No. It was the full-on Yeti. Because it was Seth's before it fell off his car.
That's right. It was that with 4 people around on a round table that wobbled, and I had to get. Actually, I think I still have the book. It's somewhere on the shelf. It's the Guild Leaders Handbook. When I played World of Warcraft, I used that to stabilize the table. Good reference. It was a great book. Scotty and Drews did a good job on it.
That's good. So you said what? Each of you have said a founding. How many founding members of Rocket Punch were there?
So Cam, myself, Seth, and Sabrina.
Yep. So it was 4. It was a quad.
Nice.
We came together and we just wanted to do something creative for like in the gaming space. Like we love games, we love comics and geek stuff and anime and all this other stuff, and we wanted to do something creative to kind of release that outlet and kind of give something back to the hobby that we really love. And so we decided, hey, let's do a podcast, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And you are in the hundreds now.
Yeah.
100. This week is 150 or 151.
It would have been 151.
Yeah, no. So here's the caveat: that's numbered episodes. Now, if you want to go just like recordings, it's got to be well over 200.
Yeah, because you got the additional shows.
The Game of the Year, as well as a bunch of other stuff.
And that's just on the Rocket Punch cast.
Yep.
Dang.
Now, before you record, are you like me and sometimes have to go to your own website to remind yourself what episode number you're on?
I have to ask Ad. I have to ask Ad every week.
See, that's how bad we are. This explains a lot of things. I have to go to my own website. I was like, oh, okay, this week's 63.
That's true.
One of the nice things we do is in our show notes, we actually have the number. So as we're making the show notes, we put the correct number on top of there so we don't forget. Not to say that we haven't forgotten it from time to time.
Right.
Now, see, that would be the smart thing to do.
Now, actually their co-host of mine. We do that, but I still have to double check because right now we were doing the week-to-week show, and it just when you are trying to do a bunch of other things and life got busy, we ended up now we do 2 shows a month. We go every 2 weeks. Just we wanted to keep putting out content because we had a break because real life just got hectic, which leads to my other thing of. My other question, I should say, how do you do it? You guys put out a lot of content.
Do we put out a lot?
Not. I always compare us to Scott Johnson as far as like volume of content. That guy does like 7 shows a week, but that's also his job. He was. You guys know who Frog Pants? They're a podcast group and media network.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so I follow a lot of his stuff, and I never feel like I'm doing a whole lot when I look at that guy's workload.
He does so many shows, but like when we break it down, what do we have? 2 podcasts. We stream during the week. Videos on YouTube.
Yep.
Content-wise, that's it.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're doing that much, honestly.
But
if you're married, what would your significant half say, though?
Well, he is married.
Okay. So what would she say? Would she say you do a lot?
She is very respectful of what we do at Rocket Punch. As long as there's time carved out in that schedule for her.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It can be a lot, especially when we do like events and things of that nature. Like, it's nice like coming in and joining you guys. We didn't have to do much. We just had to meet up.
You don't even have to do the post-show stuff, like the editing or any of that. I can't wait to crash your podcast. I'm just telling you now.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait.
Sunday.
I'm going to be farting. I'm going to eat Skittles. I'm going to do all kinds of shit in the background.
Just rub my hands together.
Just to put it out there.
But
that's fair.
The big thing I think is it's just balance and learning.
Yeah.
Like we've been doing
since
this
December
since December 2015. Like I remember when we were learning to edit podcast video, and now we can cut video in like audio or video, probably like 10-15 minutes.
I think the last thing I did with the Gears Playground, it took me 15 minutes to edit and export.
Yeah, a video for YouTube.
Yeah.
Probably the entirety of us. So when we record a Rocket Punch cast, the entirety of us actually cutting, we actually download the video from Twitch, rip the audio from Twitch, take the audio, edit it, clean it up, export it, then upload it to our RSS feeds. 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And that's if nothing's broken, like the stream cuts out.
Yep.
An hour in, and
been there a couple times with you guys. Try to get on there and support you all when you go live, and just hang out when it happens.
Oh yeah,
the joy of technology.
It's hard, and it's really just learning, like what you're doing, what we're doing, like learning how to do that, and as we learn that and stage our time, especially the big thing is like us working our schedules around. And trying, usually we have about 1 day a week that we can sit down together and say, okay, let's get some stuff done. But I'm sure, as you guys know, like we're in constant communication whenever we're working on stuff. And I think the big thing is take it slow, take it one step at a time, and just plan. That's what probably helps us. If we know what's coming, we can plan accordingly for that.
Dan and I usually get together and we play Apex Legends, and then we talk while we're playing. That's
one way of doing it.
It is.
Yeah, totally. One thing we do is we sit down and plan that quarter. Just take a day, plan the quarter, and then go from there.
Yep.
Dan, are we just not that serious? Like, I feel so inadequate
So
right now.
I feel like we're more of gamers who podcast, where the crew at Rocket Punch are podcasters who game. Content community. Not that you don't game first, but the flow of everything. You are on. you are apex predators. Just because I'm going to use the apex term because that's what's on the brain. You're predators. Me and Jay are still hovering in bronze. We're still at the bronze level, and that's okay. You know what? We're satisfied. We know next season is going to be our time to shine.
That's right. People have to remember sometimes too. Like we were there too. Like I remember when we were like audio issues out the yin yang. We're trying to get stuff set up. Oh, we got to do this and that.
Or lost episodes because software decided to eat it.
I do stuff on purpose just to keep Dan entertained. Otherwise,
he does. I swear, one time I was going through an episode and he was like, "I like potato chips."
And I was,
and I was just, wait a second. And this is when, like, because when I first started, I was meticulous. I mean, hours. At one episode, like an hour and a half, with no kidding, 7-8 hours in Adobe Audition, and I know my way all around that program now, just doing stuff. And then it got to the point to where, like, almost burnout. You know, yeah, that too. But almost burnout because it was just, does it really matter if there's a tss or a every now and again? Not really. I haven't heard anybody complain about it.
I get yelled at. I get yelled at all the time.
This is what you hear when you listen to Jay's raw file. This is what you hear half the time.
Yep. And keyboard. Yep.
He has he's posting to Twitter. I'm pretty sure he's like on eBay buying a car sometimes. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing half the time.
For sure. Like I said, I have to keep it interesting. Otherwise you get bored.
And it sounds like our relationship is similar to the relationship you two have.
Yes. One of the very awesome fun fact things is behind the scenes here at Rocket Punch, like 50 to 60% of the time when we do the Rocket Punch cast, Will has like multiple things going on. I think one time he was playing a game. I forgot what game it was.
It was Dokkan Battle.
It was Dokkan Battle. One time, like, he had videos and stuff up that he was watching and had the subs up and stuff, but we were still in the conversation. So I was like, hey, it works.
That's what I want to do. Like one episode, I just want to the entire time just like, yep. Yeah. What? Oh yeah, we're good.
It was the World Tournament. I had to play.
I know. I didn't fault you for it. You got to keep your
No, we call that's on-scene reporting. Like we're talking about gaming, so you're gonna be playing the game that you're reporting on.
This is Will live from Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle.
Yeah, please now.
So before we get too far into the games, you have a special event coming up that I had an absolute blast being a part of last year. I'm looking forward to this year because before we get into it, has anybody said they're going to play Beat Saber?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm telling you now, I've got a Prince outfit already picked out. I've got maybe white gloves and a Michael Jackson hat. I'm going all out for this thing. So
lose viewers, don't let them
do not decline Beat Saber. I've been practicing Purple Rain for at least 45 minutes a day. Check my Twitter timeline. I'm burning 500 calories every 45 minutes.
Yo, I'm down.
Trying to play expert.
I would watch that. Like 100%.
Dan, you know what you need?
What do I need?
One of those. There's more calories than that, and it's louder.
Yeah, for sure. What VR? I could talk. They've got a sweet band game in VR that I want to check out here eventually. But you have a special event coming up, and one of my favorite things that Rocket Punch does is the community there is wonderful. And really, one thing that we'd like to obviously bring to ours one day, but the giving and the charity work that you all do. I don't want to take too much of your thunder. I want you to talk about it. I think it's wonderful, but it's coming soon. Please.
Okay. Well, every year we take part in Extra Life, and so it's where you can choose what Children's Miracle Network hospital you can support. Typically, we're in Alabama, so we choose the one in Birmingham because that's our closest one.
Children's Alabama.
But the entire idea is to raise money for kids who can't get the healthcare they need without it. And so, as far as all that goes, that's 100% the goal is to just do what we can to help kids get the medical care they need. And so, if you ever want to look into it, it's extra-life.org. So that's the big website. You can sign up. It's free to do. You can go through there, check it all out. But they're a totally legitimate organization. You don't have to handle the money. It goes straight through them, and they get it to the hospital.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
when we started Rocket Punch. I remember in all the many conversations that we had about like what we're going to do. This was number one. Like, if not number one, then at the top is like, we will be doing Extra Life every chance that we get. And of course, we missed the one in 2015, but since 2016, we have had Extra Life every year. It is a very important thing for us here, Will and myself and everybody who's kind of come through. We have so much fun, and we do whatever we can. Like, one year we did 49 hours.
Not again. I was working while doing that. No.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I think that same year we actually had, and we'll see how everything works out. We may do it again this year on a shorter time frame, but we had like friends and people from our community, like in this North Alabama area, like come over, like, hey, do you want to stream with us? Hey, if you don't want to stream, do you just want to come play games with us? And try and raise as much money as we can. And at the end of the day, as much fun as we have streaming that stuff, the big thing is it's hashtag for the kids.
For the children.
That's why we're doing it. Yeah, that's right. And
Doing it for the kids.
We as long as Rocket Punch is here, we will always be doing Extra Life. It means that much to us. It's just as integral to Rocket Punch as our podcasts and our videos and stuff.
Yeah.
We always set up, like, we have a big event that we do around E3. The big event in the fall is Extra Life. 100%.
I think that is absolutely amazing. We were fortunate enough to be a part of it last year. Those of you who saw my sweet aerial skills in Rocket League may or may not remember me. I was the gentleman in the white car. Did Rocket League, and might have been one more other game, I forget. But anyways, what I really appreciate that you all do is that you involve outside entities. You involved us. You sent us an invite. Hey, do you want to go ahead and do this? We got involved. You have, and I am terrible with names, so please forgive me. The gang from the pinball group that we work with too.
Pinball Undesirables?
Yes. Yep. Organizations around, you put a lot of effort into it. I remember going to a planning meeting last year when you all were putting this together. So I know you put a lot of work, effort into it, and being a part of it, I appreciate that. Jay will appreciate that because he knows he's doing an art stream at some point. I already talked to him about it. He's just got to figure out his time. But I think what you all do for the community, for gaming, outside of gaming, is fantastic. And if I remember, I'm going to insert an applause sound for the audio version of the podcast right now. Thank you both for what you do, though.
Feels special, you know. It's what we do. It's what we want to do. It's what needs to happen. I think, like, if we want to be, our mentality, if we want to be the positive change in our community, in the gaming community, you know, people always talk about, you know, the toxicity and stuff that some communities have. If we want to be that positivity, we have to work hard at it. And Extra Life is one of those things that we do not relent on, and it's even better getting other people. Like, shouldn't be in a bubble. Like, we're helping kids and helping children. Get everybody in here. Get on the bus.
No, 100% agree. Also, the pinball guys, they're coming back to this year.
Yes! That's an interesting thing. I did not realize how entertaining pinball streaming could be.
Well, not all of them are entertaining. It's just Steven he's a special
Right.
It's really fun to watch.
It is. And we'll make sure we push out all the details through our social circles, through Rocket Punch, where you all will be able to participate pretty sure I said that wrong. That could be the whiskey talking. Participate. Please check it out. Join, even if you can't donate, just tell friends, tell people. It's for an outstanding cause. And do you recall off the top of your head what your final was last year?
Oh boy.
Funny thing, actually.
And I thought it was like a decent, I was like, wow, we did pretty good.
Wasn't it in the 800s?
Yeah. Overall rank, we were 4,228 of 48,102.
I want to say it was in the 800s range.
Yep.
There. Because I think we had the goal. We had it at 500. We beat that, and then we went to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hit 800.
Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
And we got to see Cam sleep on a couch. I think it was Cam.
No,
that was me.
That was you. Okay. I knew it was somebody. I remember
Super
distinctly
Mario.
seeing somebody, and I was just like, this is in real life.
It was so funny because it was right before I was waking up to take over. And as soon as I wake up, I get a message from people that are in chat like, hey, you probably need to check on your boy. I was like, what's going on? That's great. And that is somewhere on our Twitch page.
$20 if there's pictures next time drawn on him.
I'll
Not of the inappropriate kind, because this is for the children, but you can draw
right.
a WASD keypad or something, something of that
My
nature.
only request is if you do that, do it on the back of my hand,
There you go.
Okay.
not on the face.
Something non-permanent.
Here's the face.
No,
So,
I just don't want to have to explain it at work.
There you go. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the money maker. Everything but the jewels.
that's right.
Well, I think we got the kind of hey, this is us kind of time. We need to talk some games.
All right.
And-
I'm okay with this.
Do you guys play anything but Rocket League?
When was
That was aimed at me, just in case anybody was wondering.
That's true.
What have I been playing? I've been playing Gears 5.
Nice.
Enjoying that very, very much. We had a very tense boss fight on our stream the
Yes.
other night. That was probably one of the most fun I've had in the boss fight in a while.
Now I have a question. Have you guys gotten to the Act 2 boss in Gears?
So I sit out on Gears. I cannot do Gears. I've tried it, and it's going to be interesting to get your takes, because the two biggest games right now that everybody's playing, I'm not playing because I'm just not fans of the franchise. So it's ironic that you guys are here to discuss these kind of things, because I can sit back and post in the show notes, yeah, get the reviews of Borderlands 3, Gears 5 right here at One More Game Podcast. I can't get into them. I've tried Gears. Borderlands is a whole nother thing. Those are like the two games that I feel like everybody is like, yes, yes. And I'm sitting here going, that is not my cup of tea. And I will play it eventually, though, because it's on Game Pass.
Yes, it is
I
on
don't
Game
have
Pass.
I don't have an Xbox.
No, they have Game Pass for PC, and Gears 5 is on PC.
There you go.
Well, then I don't have an excuse now, do I?
No, you don't. And for $2 a month, you can donate to this little kitty. I was going somewhere else with it. Never mind. But
It's
Jay,
so-
we got to talk.
it's so funny
I can't
how
believe you don't know.
People forget about Game Pass and the fact that it's on PC and Xbox. We've had a lot of people within our community that are like, man, I wish I could play it. Either I don't have an Xbox or I don't have a PC. I'm like, hey, you have Game Pass, like $2.
Yep. And a lot
You
of them
get
are
2 months to plug
cross-platform.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sea of Thieves, which I want to hit on soon because I fell in love with it again. But some of these games are cross-platform. And literally the other day, I went ahead because I wanted to check out Sea of Thieves because it got a big update. And it was added $2. And I'm sure it's like that introductory, if you read the fine print, you're only going to get it for like 2 months and it balloons to like $189 a month. But the fact of the matter is a lot of the games, they are really starting to push that cross-platform thing. And the catalog's getting big. I know when it first launched for PC Ultimate, it was, I think, like 10 or 15. But it's getting huge.
And the fact that every Xbox like every Microsoft Studios game, so Gears, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, anything from Microsoft is automatically on Game Pass day one, and it's cross-platform day one. That's really
there's really no reason, and I think even past the point now of if you have an Xbox, if you don't have an Xbox, there's really no reason not to have it, especially with the size the catalog's getting. You just got to install, well, you don't have to install another launcher, but you have something, another market to go through from the storefront.
Yep. True. And the cross-play is seamless.
Yes.
I think when we played, Will, you were on your Xbox, I was on my PC, and playing without missing a beat.
Yep.
Yeah, no issues at all.
So I lock you in a room for 12 hours. You have one choice. And Borderlands, I have not seen come across my Twitter feed from you guys, so I don't know if you've done it yet. Borderlands or Gears 5?
How about call the police, you crazy fuck?
Listen to this guy. Here we go.
Actually, that's probably a good idea. See,
no swatting allowed.
5, but I haven't played Borderlands yet.
And I'm all in on Borderlands. I'm already level 34, 35.
Nice.
It hasn't even been out.
How does WoW feel that you're cheating on it though? Because I know you're cheating. I've seen you in Discord. Not that I stalk you. I've seen WoW, and now I've seen Borderlands. And what would you say to WoW? Sitting in front of you right now. Where have you been all my life? You left me.
Well, hashtag get good, scrub.
I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this.
No, I love World of Warcraft, but it's in a weird downturn right now. So until the next expansion comes out, it's on hold.
You think it's a burnout
of these other games?
You think it's a burnout?
I don't think it's going to burn out. I think it's become this weird cyclical game where every other expansion is amazing and the one in between is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird thing where, and I think the best way to see it is in WoW Classic. With like the original World of Warcraft, they've kind of implemented a lot of stuff to make things more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using that word right, yeah. More accessible to like players that maybe don't have as much time to play, as opposed to if you were playing back in vanilla or BC, Wrath of the Lich King, where you were. When I played in Wrath of the Lich King, I was in like every night. I'd get home from work and I'm playing World of Warcraft, and I think that them making it more accessible, they have more people that kind of just come on here or there. Maybe you have a sub for a month or two and then you step away for a little bit. And I think the big reason I say that is because of WoW Classic. Right. Because people have been storming over to WoW Classic when it launched. I think I still see people in my feeds playing it religiously.
What's funny is the Twitch numbers on that, and then to still have server queues.
Yeah.
After all this time.
Everybody that I know that plays World of Warcraft, it's like, what do you do for a living? I play World of Warcraft. Oh, what do you do for fun? I play World of Warcraft. It's like, I can't. That's the reason I don't play that game, because I know if I play it, I'll be like, I don't know why I haven't been to work in 3 years. Probably because I'm playing World of Warcraft.
There was a point in my life for, I want to say, like 2 to 3 years, where I would get off of work at 2 a.m., play World of Warcraft until
you would get out of work.
I'll get out of work. Yeah, you go. Play WoW until like the sun came up. Just 7, 8 o'clock here, and then I go to sleep, wake up, go to work, repeat.
Yeah.
Every day in the week, and it was fun. But like when you're in this hole, this dark hole, and you can't see anything for years, and you break out and you see the sun, and like there's actually trees and other things besides what was in that hole. That's kind of what it felt like.
And this is why they recognize gaming addiction as a thing now.
Yeah, people said Fortnite was a problem. World of Warcraft sounds like it's a lot worse.
All Fortnite is doing is creating more workers for Home Depot. I mean, that's really all they're doing at the end of it. There's more people to hire construction. The engineering degrees are through the roof right now. I'm telling you. I just predict that thing right now. My son can build like a small house, like with stairs, better than I can at 35. I just have to hold the hammer for him. Let me tell you about the engineering stuff going on there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because, and someone I know just said it in chat, the majority of games are following that kind of sequence. It is, but I'll tell you, I feel like what is definitely pushing WoW is still big streamers like want to go to it. Shroud is still on that WoW train right now, and he's said even a couple times, like, I think this is where I just want to stream right now. But then it's kind of like, you know, what we were saying, and I think Will brought it up. There's kind of that lull, though, you know, when everybody's kind of just easing back off of it, waiting for the next thing to come around. But it seems like it has really changed some of the bigger streamers and taking them off the battle royale, which has seemed to really be the centerpiece for almost a year or two now.
Right now on Twitch, World of Warcraft is number one.
Yep.
86,000 viewers. Fortnite's down to like number 5th or 6th, actually.
It's because they brought back the mechs. Everybody's pissed. I think they brought the mechs back. I'll have to ask my son.
The reason Fortnite is that low is because all the Fortnite viewers are over on Mixer.
Mixer. I was gonna say they all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
Because as soon as Ninja announced that he left and went to Mixer, Fortnite numbers on Twitch dropped hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And
okay.
I would say you must podcast because that is a great segue into a topic that I'd like to bring to you. Mixer. May have heard of them, as you said, and as we all know, Ninja went there. And recently they have been kind of standing up this program where basically they are having new streamers go through an indoctrination. And that's probably the wrong word to use. Everybody's like, oh my God, they're coming after us. You know, no, I don't mean it like that. What I mean is that new streamers, and I think it was like after September 4th or what have you, I have to double check the dates on it, basically had to review like a streaming safety video. I have not seen it because...
I hope it's like one of those like 1980s, like one you watch in like... I really hope it is.
Well, I picture like a streamer, like similar to when you're in an aircraft and they're telling you how to buckle your seatbelts. They're telling you how to put the mic up here, adjust your webcam, and this is what you do. But really, from what I've seen about it, it's kind of about the safety stuff, you know, what to stream, what to talk about, and all that other stuff. How do you all, you obviously are on Twitch, we're on Twitch. How do you all feel about that being kind of an onboarding process to a major streaming platform?
If it was on Twitch, then it's going to be, don't throw your cat. Don't take your clothes off.
It's not even throw, it's eat.
Don't eat your cat. Don't throw your cat.
Yeah. No eating of anything.
No eating of anything. Don't give it vodka. Don't say anything you shouldn't say. That's the Twitch. That'd be the Twitch way of like showing like this is how
They
you
fly by the seat of their pants.
You can do whatever else.
That's going to depend on which mod, because let's be fair, not all the moderation is equally enforced.
This is true. This is true. In other news, One More Game Castle is banned for 24 hours for, and it's just going to be a blank. It's going to be underscore lines. Somebody's going to forget to put what it was in for.
What are your thoughts?
I think that more platforms will force Twitch to become better. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this is built off competition. Microsoft wouldn't be doing services-wise what they're doing if they were getting beat by Sony. Just a simple example.
I think this is a nice way. One of the nice things about, especially if you're a streamer, like joining communities like we have the Stream Huntsville here, like meeting all the different streamers here. There's Twitch Nashville, all the little Twitch locations. Is that, and I've seen it recently because we have a lot of friends that are starting to stream. They started getting interest in it, and they're like asking, like, "Hey, what do I need to do? How do I need to get set up?" Now, do we expect Mixer or Twitch or anything like that to basically give them the full 101? Here's everything you need. Here's all the tools you need. Here's what you need to set up. No, not necessarily. That might be a little too grand of a scale for them. But something as simple as, especially for these new people that are coming in, and they've never streamed before. They may have never watched Twitch or Mixer before, which I know that may surprise some people, especially in the gamer realm, but there are a lot of people that do not know what Twitch is. They do not know what Mixer is. They just know that that's where their 5-year-old kid goes to watch Fortnite.
Yep.
I heard about this Twitch thing the one time. But I think giving them a tool to kind of show them the best practices is good for 2 reasons. It kind of takes that anxiety out of starting out as a streamer, and you kind of feel like, okay, I like this kind of small tutorial. Like, okay, this is where I hit live. Here's how the layout looks on Mixer, da da da. But it can also teach them about best practices, like please don't stream naked. You would think that would be a given, and you would assume that, but some people, there's a lot of people in the world. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Can there be a little chapter in there about how to treat your stream artist that's trying to like make overlays for you and emotes and everything? Like, there's got to be like a little sub like thing that tells you like, no, emotes are not free, and I'm not gonna make them free, and no, your overlay can't be $5. I'm biased, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those that don't know, Salty Cat or Jay here is by trade, or not by trade, but he moonlights as an artist for stream overlays.
The GFX in my name stands for graphic.
Yep.
See how clever that is?
And there's people that are like, oh, that's what that means. And that's okay. That's why we're here, to educate you, hopefully. It is labeled AMA in the in educational in the stream tags.
This is true.
But I agree wholeheartedly. I think what Microsoft is potentially doing is trying to capitalize, and maybe capitalize isn't the right word to use. They recognize the issues that is going on with a lot of the Twitch stuff right now, and they're trying to make an onboard process to at least kind of say, hey, we tried, at least, instead of the random, well, I didn't read the TOS or what have you, but their onboarding process, just so everybody's aware, is you basically got your Microsoft account, you link everything, you go to get started, you go to the broadcast tab, you watch the required Mixer safety video, which I hope was shot in the 80s, just in case anybody's, I hope was shot in the 80s with like the wow, wow. And I don't mean like the porn music. I mean like the, you know what I'm saying? Like if you go watch Dr. Disrespect, you'll know the soundtrack I'm talking about.
Info videos that you would watch when you were in like elementary school.
Yeah, it's got to have the guy.
Music and
it's got to have the guy like with the voice, like, and this is how you stream on Twitch.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then you get like, maybe you get
little Timmy. You want to stream on Twitch? Or like, something like that. Like, yeah.
And then you have like the omnious guy who is getting swatted or something like that. It's just like, anyways. But there's actually a 24-hour review period after, you submit all that stuff that you did this for doing it with the webcam and stuff. And I like it. And personally, I think it's a pretty good onboarding process because Twitch, it takes you 2 minutes and you have a webcam and games good to go. So I think it's pretty cool that they're putting a little thought into it. I will ask, and I'm not sure how many people know, this seems to kind of flow a little bit on the radar, but they actually have like a dress code, kind of how you should present yourself in their streams that we've talked about before. How do you all feel about that?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it too. I think, does Twitch not have a dress code?
Twitch's
dress code is it's very you can't show any nudity. You can't, like, either male or female can't show like their nipples. They can't be topless. They can't whatever. But now they're starting to crack down, even, which I know Dan has an article about he wanted to talk about. They're actually starting to crack down more on the lingerie and undergarment. She
wasn't wearing lingerie.
She was wearing a sports bra.
Jesus. It was workout clothes.
Dude, I've watched, this is going to sound so bad me saying this, but I mean, I've watched like female streamers playing Dance Dance Revolution in a bikini. I mean, you can see that on Twitch. I don't know. I don't get it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I think where they're going for it too is this is the classic Microsoft approach to more of a family affair. And it's really one of those things where you can say, I can wear whatever, empowerment. And I think they really try to just discern everything with, hey, look, it's just a family environment. They're really big on their rating their streams. When you do it, you teen, children friendly or family friendly. sounds like a pedophile at this point, but they really try to gear where the stream's going to go to, because that is like the Microsoft approach to everything. You know, Halo doesn't have blood in it for a reason. You know what I mean? They're really kind of about that kind of stuff. And I like it. I just don't know that it's going to ever really be big enough to take down somebody like Twitch.
Yeah, I think, and I remember when Ninja went over to Mixer, there was a big shift there. Like, people took notice of that. Like, oh, hey, what's going on? I think that was really Microsoft's first move in trying to make a claim for itself in the streaming space.
Yep.
And I know, and I'm sure you guys do too, like, reading the tea leaves, checking on social media, like, a lot of people were like, this happened on Twitch with Dr. Disrespect, with old lady eating her cat over her head, and kind of the inconsistencies that Twitch is doing with their moderation there. Like, I totally forgot about Mixer. Let me check about Mixer.
Yeah.
It put Mixer back on people's radar. And
I think that,
oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, the thing that sucks about Twitch, though, I mean, I won't say it's an excuse nor a defense, but the thing about Twitch is because it's so popular, no matter what, and you know this, everybody knows this, no matter what, you're never going to satisfy everybody. Somebody's going to complain about anything, everything. It doesn't matter what it's going to be. They can't. I mean, I honestly think when Dan was talking about that girl who got banned or whatever, like, I mean, so like everybody's barking about, you know, oh, equal, everything's got to be equality and everything. So, okay, so fine. So then they see this girl who is, you know, wearing a sports bra, and they're like, all right, we're going to ban her. Well, no, you can't ban her. I mean, ban them, but not her. You know what I mean? It's, people are going to bitch. People are going to complain about it. And if I was Mixer, I would just be soaking all this up going, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We know what we're doing now.
Because
You know?
I think you guys had mentioned earlier, like, they're trying to be competitive or competitor offer things, but like at the same time, when they snatched up Ninja and they're implementing the stuff, like, they're a business, like, they understand they're going for the throat.
Yep.
You know, not trying to mean it exactly like that, but
Yeah. But it is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's the not straying too off course, but it's the same thing as Steam and Epic Game Store. Like,
oh my gosh.
Don't get me started.
No, I hear we all agree on that whole thing. It's just, gosh, I can't believe it. But yeah, no, I agree with you.
Like, you have one person sitting at the top, and no offense to Twitch at all, I have a lot of fun on Twitch, but actually going in, like, very much like Steam, it's been the same for X amount of time. Like, there really is not a lot of movement, or it seems like priority on, like, trying to make your platform more streamlined, or for new people coming in, or make kind of quality of life features to make the people, the partners and the affiliates that you have, like, make their life a lot easier when they're streaming. And now we're getting, you know, I think Twitch announced that they're going to have their own, like, Twitch streaming app similar to OBS.
Yeah.
Coming out, and all of a sudden, as competition comes knocking on the door and people start diverting their attention to that, that's when people start getting out of their chair and go like, oh, okay, maybe we need to start doing some stuff. Go get the suggestion box that we left in the closet in the janitor's room. Like, pull it out. Let's start reading some stuff and see what we can do. Because I kid you not, like, I'm sure that when Ninja left Mixer, they felt that. I'm sure everything was very nice and amicable, but they felt that. I mean, the fact that Fortnite is the 6th highest game being streamed in World of Warcraft is, what year is it? Is a telling thing.
Yep. I agree. And I think Bearded B brought up a good point too, that if Microsoft can really get the Mixer platform baked into Windows to handle a lot of that stream management, that is going to be a huge part of their success, because I can turn on my PlayStation right now. I'm one button away from Twitch. Same thing on my Xbox. No matter what they say, you can still stream it on Twitch. They make it a little, I feel like, a couple extra steps for Twitch on the Xbox. Much easier to do Mixer, but there is, as soon as they kind of get that, and I feel like it takes them a little bit of time to really kind of bake that stuff in, it's going to be hard to compete with when it comes to anything on PC.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, agreed.
But that is where that is going. Before I forget, though, I do want to talk Sea of Thieves because I'm really excited about this because I played something else other than Rocket League, Apex, Beat Saber. I love
played
Beat
Blair
Saber.
Witch, and if anybody
Oh my
wants
God.
to look at the VODs, please do because
I
absolutely.
need to see them. Oh my
You gotta
god, I
check
saw
it
them
out.
playing. I didn't get a chance to
Dude.
watch it yet.
All right, Blair Witch. Let me tell you about this. First off, Dog of the Year goes to Bullet, and I'm gonna I'm gonna try to make this as spoiler free as possible. The game's
Scary as
terrifying.
shit. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like the only reason I'm playing it right now is because I've got two monitors in front of me, and I'm pretty sure that the radiation from the monitors can kill me before the shining light that pops up every now and then can, and that is my only saving grace. I had my dog, who's a German Shepherd, walk by me, and if you look at one of the videos, I'm looking like this over to the side because I think he's doing something, but it's something going on in the game. The game's terrifying. I'm just saying, people, it's friggin' terrifying, and I'm only like an hour into it. Excuse me. But I do have a couple of small issues with it. Their onboarding process with it, like I felt a little lost with what to do. I couldn't give my dog a treat. You put a dog with me in a game, I want to pet it, which they do allow. I want to give it treats. It took me 30 minutes to give my dog a treat. I pull out the treat. Go ahead.
30 minutes though?
Yeah, because you have to be at a certain point either in the game or the dog has to be doing something specific in order to get rewarded. So my point is, like, some of that stuff they don't explain. Like, you are literally dropped in the game. There's a bunch of cars there. Go open this, open that, and you get maybe one or two kind of cues. There's not a lot of onboard to it, which I'm okay with to a certain extent, but I feel like a couple of things could have been explained a bit more. And I'm probably more angry because there's a couple of videos where I'm like, floating around on the internet now. So it could be me taking that out, like in my review, more or less. I'm definitely going to stream more of it. The game they mastered that environment, I think to a T. Now, when it launched though, there were issues. Like, I had to bring my stream when I was doing it down to 30 FPS, and I by no means have like rig of the year, but it's decent enough. I had to bring the stream down to 30 FPS in order to get anything out there. But the game is, and from what I read, it's like 4 hours, roughly, I think 4 or 5 hours long. Man, do they do a good job in that game though. With
It's scary.
It's scary as hell, dude. Like, next time I stream though, my wife is going to be on the opposite side of the room. I made her sit through Resident Evil with me because I am, man. Like, scary games, I love to play them, but I try to either wait for 1 o'clock in the afternoon, like when the windows are open and the birds are chirping, or I make my wife sit there with me.
I had to get my wife to sit with me when PT.
Yes, I love it. There's somebody else.
That came out, and she was not like wanting to sit there. I'm like, babe, I have to have somebody sit here so I can be okay, please. And so I think she scared her more than I did. Yeah.
That is, I've jumped before and scared her worse than whatever was going on in the game. But you said PT. Did you see the video of what came out recently about what's going on with the ghost?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make your night, because I too am a PT fan and regret deleting it off my hard drive. You need to. What was the name of that ghost basically that you were chasing in PT? I forget. Anyways,
I don't remember her name.
Somebody did something to where basically they can make the camera third person in the game. She's following you the entire time you're walking around that place.
Spoiler.
What?
Look at the video. It's creepy as hell. And I'm fairly certain it wasn't one of those like ad hoc, somebody is, adding stuff into the game, doing something on the computer, because that game's pretty locked down, especially with it being gone now. But they did some kind of camera thing to where you're walking forward, you continue going forward. That crazy chick is right behind you the entire game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
you got to check it out. Like, it was eerie watching it, but wow.
I'm glad I didn't actually know that when I was playing the game. That would have made it even worse.
It's good though.
Are you guys talking about Silent Hill? Oh, PT.
It was.
I'm always so fucking.
Was it? Yeah, kind of technically.
Yeah.
It was like some weird tech demo setup for Silent Hill.
That was the one that Kojima did, didn't it, with Norman Reedus?
Yeah.
Or was that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro and him.
Which was a shame to see go away because that had so much potential. And it was apparently just kind of a tech demo, but that's a lot for a tech. Not a lot for a tech demo, but there's so much they could have done with that.
Can I ask this real quick? Does anybody still know what the fuck is going on with Death Stranding? Holy shit.
You can pee.
Norman Reedus.
You can't
Yeah,
be. You can stroke.
I think like things.
Yep. You can use a hoverboard.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Yep, the hoverboard's in there. Well, I'm calling it a hoverboard.
That's Fortnite.
No, this is PT. And then you can have your little radioactive material boxes that I'm still not sure what's in them, carried by, like, you know those things you see people pulling at the beach, like the big red wagons?
They're called coolers, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a cooler. This is like the wagon that carries the cooler. One of those. It looks so much like Metal Gear Solid, though. It reminds me a lot of MGS.
Yeah, I mean, it's from Kojima. I think he has a very unique style and kind of how the games not necessarily like look from an artistic standpoint, but from almost like a framework standpoint. Like, and I agree, it looks very much like the Phantom Pain, and kind of how they move and just interactions between your character and the world. But it's Kojima. He's the rock star of the video game industry. You know?
Sony gave him a lot of money.
Oh yeah, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, has there ever been a quote unquote bad Metal Gear Solid game critically?
That online game was crap.
But
that's not really.
We don't talk about that.
I'm just saying, you did say.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's very true, and I think I have to play it out of curiosity, though. Like, I got to see what it is, because one of the cool things, and I kind of skimmed through the hour-long tech demo, or not tech demo, but the gameplay, was being able to plot your routes, you know, like using the terrain features to do. And one of the cool thing was they took from Dark Souls, where you can basically kind of like leave notes, and if you put a ladder somewhere, it seems like that somebody else, because it's kind of the multiplayer aspect to it, can come and use that same ladder that you left there. And a lot of that intertwining stuff with the multiplayer that he's doing makes it very interesting.
It's not Dark Souls in the fact that, hey, go down this hole and then some rock kills you.
Yeah. Oh, there'll be jackasses. There will be people who do that, I'm sure. But it uses a lot of that kind of style with it. And when I heard that, I was kind of like, okay, because there's some multiplayer component to it too. But the latter thing I thought was pretty cool, because he's using kind of these high points from these other games, these other genres, and kind of incorporating into, because those were always cool. And I don't think I've ever finished one of those damn games before, but they were funny to kind of read and do, you know, as you kind of go along and get those hints. But incorporating some of that, you know, that style into the game, I think is going to make that thing interesting. I just still don't know what it is. I don't.
Yeah,
it's like a Cinnabon. I put it in one shape, have no idea how it's going to come out when it's done cooking.
You have the
you cross your
weirdest
fingers.
the analogies that you come up with.
I haven't had a chance to watch the gameplay demo. Was there gameplay? Because I know we've seen small little clips of like fighting.
Yep.
Did they show more of that?
Yeah.
Of like the combat?
Yep. It is like a full-blown 52-minute, like, hey, this is the game. And the menus themselves reminded me of Division, like how they do the inventory management and everything like that. There's some really interesting aspects to the games where you can kind of see some of the inspiration, and he could just be doing it his own way. But when I see something and it strikes me about another game right away, I'm like, oh, maybe he got some inspiration from there. It's pretty wild. Like, it has me way more curious now than before, for sure. It's worth checking out. I would definitely check it out.
Nice.
I was already in. It's a Kojima game, and I'm a pretty big Metal Gear Solid fan. So I like that Kojima takes these risks and brings us these new, different experiences that we don't normally expect with his work. Like, I think there are times when Kojima leans very much into the art aspect of being a game developer.
Right.
And it's enjoyable to watch. Now, whether it's always a hit, with me personally, I don't know.
Right.
I gotta say, it's kind of interesting because there's no other game where I've been attacked by flaming space whales.
Like, when's the last video game that you played where you can pee? Like, straight up just urinate? Like,
I think that should just be a word for like when you're playing a game like that. Like if something like really fucked up happens, Kojima. It's like, that's a description.
Apparently now there's this thing when you sit down across from Norman Reedus in the game or whatever. If you like focus on his crotch, he punches you.
I saw that. That is interesting.
Yeah. That's going to make me do it now.
Yeah, now you're going to want to do it.
Okay, now that you said that, everybody's going to be doing it. It's like the loot cave in Destiny. I'm going to check it out. I want to see what you're working with.
They're gonna nerf it eventually.
Yeah, they are. They're going to make it. I'd make it more extreme every time.
Man, I hope there's an achievement.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. That's exactly what it's going to be.
That's an Easter egg in the game. If you look down at it, you see a baby in there giving them.
Yeah.
You get punched in the face, and then you go, Kojima. Why?
Yeah, and it's like the Konami code. That's all it is. You got to look at it and do the infamous code, and then Ryu just comes out of nowhere and uppercuts you, and you have to start all over again.
How drunk is this podcast right now?
Yeah, it's terrible. Drunk enough to talk about the Guinness Book of World Records has declared the most downvoted comment on Reddit.
Why?
What?
Why is that a thing?
You know why it's a
I know
thing?
where this is going.
I guess it's internet.
Take a guess. What game company would have the most downvoted comment on Reddit?
Anthem.
EA.
EA.
Yeah, EA.
EA. It is. EA. And why this is even an entry in there, I have no idea. I thought it was funny when I read it. This thing has this poor, and it's the PR team account for EA, so it's not one individual, is going to be spending the next 100,000 years getting out of karma hell, because the comment through loot boxes for Battlefront 2 has 683,000 downvotes.
Oh.
So much
I
so.
did downvote.
Did you?
You're doing your part.
There you go.
I'm doing my part.
I feel like they should have sent you something for contributing. Yes.
Can I get a
My
banner?
money back.
Can I get a banner?
Yeah. Random thoughts you come across the internet, and I checked it too. I was like, no way. And I looked, and no kidding, in the Guinness Book of World Records now, they've got their internet stuff, and the most downvoted comment on Reddit was concerning loot boxes, in Battlefront 2. And it was just some guy who said, hey, look, we're trying to adjust, we're trying to reward players for putting hours into the games. And I don't want to rehash that whole fiasco because it seems like it's in a somewhat decent place right now if you still play. But I'm pretty sure they deleted that Reddit account.
You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you get a plaque or like some certificate or something when you break a Guinness record or have one set? Like, how does it feel when Guinness comes up to your company like, hey, we wanted to provide you with this world record plaque for most downvoted comment on Reddit? Like, how would that make you feel?
Me? I would feel like I accomplished something that my parents told me I never would.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Look what I did.
Yeah, you told me I'd never do anything. This is for Johnny and Rebecca for not taking me to prom.
Oh, cool.
Anyways. Yeah, so there's that.
Sorry, guys. Something happened with the headphones.
Oh, Will's
What fail?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now I can hear stuff now.
No, you're
I
good.
can't anymore.
We're coming up. We have always
Try to
like
not have to
15
pick up on
articles for this stuff, and we very rarely get through them all.
Yeah, we get through like 3 and we derail.
Oh, we derail.
Like
This
we
should be the
get out.
One More Derail podcast.
Well,
One more derail.
Oh, poop scoop.
Could be having some technical difficulties going on.
Good.
Oh, we're going old school now.
yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And out.
Do we have some intermission music? And Dan would always give.
Wow.
Yay. Okay.
We got it.
Some kind of playlist.
Oh, people who are not watching this via video, you guys are missing out.
You are. This will be
There we
on
go.
YouTube soon enough.
Oh,
The last
this
bit.
is horrible.
The last bit I want to talk about before I open the floor for anything last. Sea of Thieves. I had an amazing time in it a couple days ago. Is anybody still playing it?
I have not played Sea of Thieves in a while.
It's been like 3 months.
Okay, so fairly recent.
Yeah.
You've kind of been around for the updates.
That game is very hard to play by yourself. And I think for me, like, I love Rare, I love the art style, but like, I didn't get a chance to play with other people for a long time, and then other games came in and kind of swept me up. So I kind of missed out on the boat, no pun intended, on kind of a lot of what Sea of Thieves has to offer.
Well done.
They did. And Sea of Thieves is one of those games that I check in on. I get lost in for a while, come back, and then I leave. And I think it's the game best played with friends. It's
And drinking. You have to be drinking while playing it.
Yeah, like, but not in the game, because like their drunk effects in the game like are second to none. I want to vomit when I'm drinking in Sea of Thieves. Like, they make me feel sick. Have you ever seen it, Jay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's friggin' terrible.
I
I've
think
watched
if you
it when
drink
like
enough, you do throw up in the game.
Yeah.
I have drank enough to make a game to throw up, yes.
Have you done it to where you throw up into your own bucket, then throw it on your buddies?
No, but that's
No.
hilarious.
You're missing out.
Oh my god.
You can do it. I do it all the time.
It sounds like we do.
You can catch your own vomit and throw it on people in that game, and they get green goo on their screen. It's pretty. That's the Sea of Thieves thing, though. But recently, and I was pretty excited about it because I haven't played it probably in about 7 or 8 months. They're starting to, I think, give in is really the right term to use with some of the content that people have been asking for like a story, because that was the one big thing everybody had against it. I go in, what do I do? And it's really kind of one of those games where you make your own adventure.
Yeah, very
Never.
much. Especially in the early days.
Yeah, it is. But they've added their Smuggler's Fortune update was the latest one. I was pretty excited about it. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, cool. You know what? Because my dad, me and him still play games. I can't play Destiny right now because the PC version's coming. I'm a converted PC gamer at the moment. I can't touch my Xbox. Like, Dad, let's play something together. Let's play Sea of Thieves because he likes Sea of Thieves. He's an old Navy guy. We get in there. I'm like, oh, yes, there's single player content. And that was his big right before. He likes having that carrot to chase. Only to find out that you have to be like the max trading guild, or whatever they call it in Sea of Thieves, the max level, in order to partake in said single player quest. That was a bummer.
Interesting. Okay.
But
is that like just some way to gate that process?
I think it's drawing the time there to give somebody, okay, well, now this is what you're working for. It's like working for the raid in Destiny. You got to be X level before you can kind of hit the content. But some of that stuff takes a little bit of time, and it was really disappointing to see that, because that was like within the first 2 minutes, that's what happened. I was like, oh, crap. I'm sorry, Dad. I might have misread it, blah, blah, blah. But next thing you know, we wind up on a ship. We're sailing somewhere. We get a random crew member, and as Sea of Thieves go, and I'm sure you all can attest to this, somebody hits a rock. It doesn't matter who was driving the ship at the time. Somebody hits a rock. Another ship, one of the big galleys comes up there. What do you have on your ship? Tell us now. And I'm like, please don't hurt us. We're new. We haven't played in a while. And cool enough, they end up, I didn't know about the alliance flag thing. The guy was like, okay, we'll show you guys, we'll team up with you guys. I flew my alliance flag. We became an alliance. We became one. We sail the 7 seas and mess up other people who are trying to go about their days and level up, because you know what? That's what the fuck Sea of Thieves is.
Rolling around with a squad. And
the alliance thing, pardon me, I really got to edit out my coughing. Was a really cool, I did not know, I don't know when they added it, but being able to go around with other people and do that kind of stuff I thought was cool. But the really cool thing was this group of players, and they had 4 people on their ship, approached us ready to just wreck our world. And they could have done it. It's just me and my 60-year-old father at that point, who has enough trouble operating the D-pad and right bumper, are gonna, potentially ruin our gaming experience. They're one keystroke away from doing that, because he doesn't really like getting into that kind of stuff. But it completely flipped around. And we had probably the best experience in Sea of Thieves that we've ever had. We got, hit up by, what's that, the Megalodon thing. That was one of the battles. Yeah. We chased other ships around, and we got lost for like 3 hours, man, just doing random stupid stuff in that game. And it reminded me, like, that's what that game's supposed to be. We weren't after any kind of chess. We were just having fun. And when a spark like that happens with that game, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a roll of ships that are just coming in there to jack your shit and take your treasure chest. See you later.
Yeah. That's a great gaming experience right there.
It is. I had to share that one though. That was pretty. I like to see where it's going. They've added a lot of stuff. All the content's free. It's on Game Pass. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend it, but you got to do it with somebody else. You got to have a friend to go in with.
That's true.
Do they have any type of like guild system in there yet, or it's like the alliance system still kind of the?
I don't think so, but I saw pirates, and I'm not a Sea of Thieves expert. So I don't know if the pros call it SOT, maybe if the veterans they call it SOT. I don't know. But some of the pirates, if you will, had like special names after their character, their in-game names. And I don't know if that's in reference to like the legendary pirate status, because that's what your kind of end state is, or if it's like the actual crew stuff, because I didn't see anything in the menus that said join this matey or join this group. Whatever a pirate crew. What would a pirate crew be?
Ooh. What would?
So is there a plural for that? I don't know.
I don't know, but just a crew, I guess. There's got to be a word for a pirate gang.
There's the Pirates Glossary of Terms.
Everybody go to Google right now. Crew? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just pirateglossary.com.
Homework.
Yeah, that's the homework. There you go. Everybody listening on podcast services.
I like the fact, that's actually a question that pops up.
It is answered. What do you call a gathering of pirates? Buccaneers. Brigands.
Buccaneers.
Cutthroats. Privateers.
Hierarchy of group of pirates. It's called a crew. Yeah. You'll learn something today. One More Game podcast, you learned something.
I love the fact that everybody's mechanical RGB keyboard just went off for the last 30 seconds, too.
I'm more interested to go to what's the
clicky clackies.
There you go. Bearded Bee did the same thing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I will open the floor to any comments. Anybody may have anything you want to talk. I know we've kind of kept you guys here for quite a while. Anybody have anything else?
Have fun on it. We talk in microphones for like hours every week, so we're totally fine with it. Yep. What do I want to talk about? You got anything to talk about?
So I got something to say on Borderlands.
Yeah, do tell. So that way I can have that show note that says, get your Borderlands review here.
Fair. No, I'm really enjoying the game. But if you're not a Borderlands fan, like if you have never been interested in the prior games, played those, did like it, do not buy this game. It is 100%.
You are not the first person I've heard. You're not the first person to say that.
So Bearded Bee, as far as that goes, if Are you a streamer? Actually, question, because there was a discussion about that in the streamer Huntsville. But as far as that, the keylogger thing isn't actually a keylogger. Someone did further research into it, and someone was trying to hack the.
It's like the Tencent server or whatever it was. That's like where it originated.
Yeah, they
out
were
of.
trying to like inject code or something.
Yeah.
And it was causing packets to be sent back to lock them out. Or at least that's what one of the guys in the Discord was saying, and he's a fairly intelligent individual. So I'm gonna. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Beyond that, I'm playing on PlayStation. I'm gonna be 100%. Honestly, I'm loving the game. The only thing that really stinks is when you're in multiplayer, the game chugs. For some reason,
that's very interesting too.
If you've got like a squad of 4 dudes and you're rolling through, you will see moments where one of you will randomly just get a random frame rate drop, and it is terrible. And then it goes back to being great again.
Is the same being reported on PC?
I don't know. I know on Xbox it was doing something similar. For some reason, they actually have it running better on the PS4 Pro than the One X.
Yeah. So with Borderlands, and I was kind of on the fence. I've tried to give it, an honest go every single time. I even tried it on the HD remaster, and the stuff that I've read about it, and I was really thinking about giving this one another go, is that it's Borderlands. And I mean, like, there was nothing deceptive about how they were trying to advertise that game or anything. They sold it as is. If you like Borderlands, this is what's for you. And it seems like, by and large, to be received fairly well. I think Metacritic had it like an 83, like the day it came out. Maybe Polygon, and depending on where you get your source, I don't want to bash sources or anything, was like one of the lower ratings, and they really were complaining about, I think, a lot of the rinse and repeat stuff. But it seems like it's doing fairly well. But I also know, like, the way the embargo worked with that game, I was kind of like, I want to see how this one's going to go. It was shady.
Yeah, it really was. It's now a 79 on Metacritic. And
that dropped a little bit.
On Games Radar.
I think that, what did I read on Kotaku? Some people, like, they were, instead of sending codes, they had people make special accounts on the Epic.
They sent them Epic accounts. Pre-made Epic account logins. Yep.
Wow. That's weird.
Which really sucks if you're like a journalist, because you're investing this time into this game now, and you're not going to carry over your status. That account is at the whims of, whatever, Gearbox wants to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only to US. Like, it was only outlets in the US. I'm a huge fan of the Giant Bomb podcast. And what kind of caught and you got me on a tangent here because I thought this was interesting. When Jeff Gerstmann, was talking back and forth to the media department, other outlets were being told, hey, due to security reasons, we're only doing X amount of, review copies, and it's not coming out, till X, Y, and Z. Well, somebody at Giant Bomb, and I think it was Jeff Gerstmann, like I said, got like a real response. It sounded like not your typical PR cut, but they said, hey, due to pre-event coverage or due to E3 coverage, more or less basically how you sold our game, with all of your coverage, we're not going to be giving you, like a real early copy of it. Basically saying, hey, your coverage was less than glamorous. We'll send you the review copy at the last minute. But the fact that they excluded anybody outside of the U.S. and really only included people who really gave favorable coverage was pretty suspect.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same thing, kind of watching some of the reviews, and specifically the issues there is like right on the head there. The point of the review is you put your game out there and you see what people say, like whether good or bad, like it's unbiased. You let them go there. And when I started hearing about like, oh, we have these Epic accounts set up for you, and some people didn't actually get the game until for what seems to be dubious reasons, I think that's just not right. It's not.
Yep.
I understand how you feel on that, because it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, it's pretty scummy. I will 100% be on that. Also, Brandy Pitchford has also been very weird lately.
That whole thing. And there's people like out of principle who aren't buying it because you have that whole legal fiasco going on with him. And I think it was one of the legal, who did the voice also for one of the characters, basically.
Claptrap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't want to say it. If there were a small podcast, the last thing I want to do is get sued and pull like an Elon Musk and call somebody a pedo. Next thing you know, I'm getting sued. But there's some weird shit going on over there.
Yeah.
And they were
But the way
best
I'm looking
friends.
at it is- oh, no, 100%. Totally weird. I'm just looking at the game as like, well, Randy Pitchford didn't make this game.
Yeah.
He's the head of the company that made it. And I'm going to support the artists that put their time and effort into this. That's where I'm at. Because I still love Borderlands, even though the CEO is a jerk.
Yeah. A lot of people, I think, forget that kind. And it goes like to the, and I don't want to drag too much into it because I feel like we kind of fan the flames when this conversation comes up. You know, the Epic Store thing. Like when people you decide they're going to put their exclusive games on the Epic Store. And those games are hated, review bombed, and everything just because of the route they chose to publish. Like, it's one of those things. There's people, Jay, I think somebody's about to come through your ceiling.
Jesus.
Yeah, no kidding.
It hurts the developers, man. You know, they're out there. There are people working a 9 to 5, or in some cases a 9 in the morning to maybe 8:30 in the morning, depending on what market research you read. There's a lot of people putting time and effort into that stuff, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm looking through some news now that I actually want to bring up because I don't know. I haven't really talked much about this game, even though considering it's coming up in like a month and a half, something like that. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out soon in October. They actually started talking about, I don't know if you guys saw yet, some of the news and intel on how crossplay is going to work and some of their DLC plans.
I was not aware that was even going to be crossplay.
Yes.
Console
That
only
was-
or console
Wait.
and PC?
That's crossplay?
No one knew?
No, but so you're telling me I can play with the
You
power
will
of
hear
X,
it first.
and you can have your PlayStation with the phone.
Yes. So one of the big announcements, and I know for me personally, like it was a big driver that I think crossplay is here to stay, is that Call of Duty Modern Warfare will be crossplay PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC.
Breaking
play
news.
simultaneously. I'm reading some of the stuff here from an article clipped off of Reset Era. PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC players can play against each other, provided they all utilize controllers or all utilize a keyboard and mouse.
Ah, okay. So they're just going to segregate the crowd by what their input device is going to be.
As part of their matchmaking and balancing setup there. Because, if you don't do that, then somebody's going to complain like, oh, this guy has
Yeah, which makes
keyboard and
sense
mouse.
because you got aim assist. But I think Zim is like the way you do mouse and keyboard on Xbox, right?
I think so, if the game isn't natively supported.
Okay, so if it is natively supported, you don't have to run something like Zim. I don't know much about hooking a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
up to.
there are certain games that if go through Xbox's vet process that they've certified that work natively with keyboard and mouse. You don't have to have Zim. This actually even says you can place into a lobby where there are no control scheme filters, allowing you to play with players using both controllers and or KVM across up to all three supported platforms. So you can put yourself in to a lobby where you're playing against people with keyboard and mouse.
There you go, Jay.
Yeah,
That's for you right there, buddy. The only PC gamer I know with a controller.
I know a lot of people who play a controller.
I know. I just like giving you shit about it. He swears he only plays games with his controller.
I do.
I think you're like that too.
I
I
cannot
play
the mouse and
controller on all
keyboard.
the stuff. Turn off aim assist and still
Yeah.
doing really good in Destiny.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Okay, so we've got a 2v2 right here. We've got me and Cam, keyboard and mouse, and you two can have your little scuff controllers or whatever you want to call it. I don't
I
know.
actually just use a regular Xbox controller.
There you go. Doesn't matter. And we will do the battle royale for control scheme.
There you go. Just pull out your Mad Catz controller. That's
No,
the
wait.
Ooh.
Let me go get an old GameCube controller that's like all crusty and
Yeah,
whatnot from
yeah.
like GameStop.
It's right underneath the Game Shark.
Yeah,
That's interesting, though. I'm like, that makes me want to buy it more now.
See, and I want to ask you guys what you think about this, because not only that, apparently for cross-platform play, so cross-play, you just have to have a Call of Duty account, and so probably one place for them to sync everything. And they're also getting rid of season pass stuff. There is no season pass for Call of Duty this year. All maps and post-launch content will be free moving forward. Like, what are your guys' reads on Call of Duty? And like, are you guys planning to play it? Are you excited about it at all?
I'm more interested in it now.
I'll play it. I like Call of Duty. I like the franchise. I always have.
I, for one, like, you got me super hyped on the cross-platform, because that's a big thing that kind of, I don't want to say limits the games that I play, but Apex, for example, when I switched from playing primary Xbox, I built a gaming PC. I only want to play PC games now. Like, I'm still in that kind of honeymoon phase, and I left my friends behind that are still playing like Apex on Xbox, which sucks, you know. But I think what they're doing is a great thing, because we had the old switch flip. What was it, last year, when you had the magical 24 hours where Xbox and PlayStation were playing Fortnite together, and it was like, oops, sorry. And that like really was the catalyst for a lot of this stuff to happen, because at the end of the day, you know, and when I talk to people like about cross-platform stuff, I have a NVIDIA graphics card. You may have, you know, an AMD graphics card. Guess what? We can play together. And that's really, at the end of the day, and obviously there's a lot more to it, that's how we should be with the console market too. You know, they can do cross-play with that kind of stuff, regardless of what engine, you know, is powering the PC, powering the console. They could do it. And I think we're definitely heading way more in that direction. And I really want to support games that are doing that. So I would almost just buy the damn game just based off that principle alone.
Yeah. I remember us talking on our podcast, like, when Rocket League and Fortnite started, you know, PlayStation said, okay, we're going to start allowing crossplay. Like, it was really cool. But I think I remember saying that Call of Duty announcing crossplay is big.
Yep.
For so many reasons. Number one, that it is, you know, so many great games come out every year. When they show the charts for the best-selling game each year, it's Call of Duty. Whatever that Call of Duty was that year was released. So the fact that the biggest game in the world each year is adopting crossplay is a massive deal. And I think it could help, quote unquote, legitimize crossplay for smaller devs. I think a lot of people are going to be watching Call of Duty's launch and see how successful crossplay is. And if it is, I think we're going to see a lot more games over the next few years implement it.
What is the one game right now everybody wishes had crossplay?
Destiny.
They're so close. They got cross save. Just
And I think that's still in the plans. I swear at some point I remember them saying that it's kind of like a stepping stone right now. They've got the cross save going on, and by year's end, like, that was one of their goals, was to really kind of get the crossplay implemented. Yep.
Yeah, I think I've heard that too, is that's their game, because especially when you keep watching their videos, they keep, you know, Luke Smith is sitting there saying, we want it to be a shared world where you can play anywhere, where you can play anywhere. And the fact that it's going to be on Stadia, PS4, Xbox, PC, I think they're playing for it.
No, the cool thing is, I actually just linked a PC Gamer article in chat where they actually have them saying, hey, they do want to do this, but they got to get through their workload first.
Yeah. Apex is another big one that I would like to see too. And I know PUBG recently said that they were going to do it, but the caveat being PlayStation, Xbox are together, PCs, your PCs. And I think it's to kind of get around, you know, the keyboard, mouse, and
Switch and mobile.
Switch and
Oh
mobile.
yeah, they did put Switch with mobile.
Yeah,
They did.
I'll get on my
Okay.
Switch just to own some Nokia phones and no problem. That's why I love playing Fortnite with my son on PC when he plays on his Switch, because it seems like we actually get paired with more Switch people, and I'm playing on my keyboard and my mouse. That's how I've gotten wins, and he thinks I'm amazing.
Get those chicken dinners, man.
Yeah, and it's just because I'm owning these people with these little 2-centimeter joysticks. But Apex is another big one, and I can't believe I have not seen a single article come across that says Apex is doing crossplay.
I would love, because I'm a big fan of Overwatch. I would love to see
Yes.
Overwatch do crossplay, especially with it coming on the Switch now.
Are you gonna try? Have you seen it run on the Switch yet?
I have not, other than the little videos they've
Yeah.
shown online.
I'm very curious to see how that's gonna run. I can't believe they got Doom to run on it. First off, like
yeah, that's true.
if they
That's
can get
impressive.
Doom to run on it, they can get anything.
Yeah.
Well, and my bet is they're going to do what they did for the PlayStation and the Xbox and just lock it to 30.
Yeah, they're gonna have
Obviously. Yeah, I agree. They're going to have to, especially with a first-person shooter, at least keep it at some clean,
Consistent.
consistent frame rate.
to. Right.
But it just, I know with crossplay, people talk about keyboard and mouse versus controller, but like that's why people are implementing lobbies or have some creative way of separating people around. But I know I play on PC because I'm used to playing Blizzard games on my PC, but there are a lot of friends that I have that play on Xbox or PlayStation, and it kind of sucks that man, they're like super gold tier whatever on Xbox, but if they want to play with me on PC or vice versa, we have to start fresh.
Well, heck, I started Overwatch on PlayStation and couldn't bring any of my stuff over when I switched.
I have probably $80 in loot boxes in gear on PlayStation Rocket League or Xbox Rocket League that are sitting there, and I mean black wheels, white wheels, white cars that, like, no kidding, sell for a pretty good amount of money, and it's not doing a friggin' thing for me on PC.
I'm curious what you guys think about since you talked about Rocket League, them not having loot boxes later this year.
I love it. I think it's Epic. I think really has the recipe for how to handle microtransactions. I really do when it comes to that stuff, because you have Congress getting involved in loot boxes, gambling, and I don't care who you are, especially we had the testimony like 2 weeks ago about how streamers were being set up with better odds for higher tiered items. And when you're doing that and you're doing these YouTube videos, I get it. You got to watch what your kids are playing too. But you're also, I feel, and I'm probably in the minority, I don't know, that you're preying on people who have that addictive mentality and stuff too. I get it. You should stay away from it if that's how you are. But you know how many times I've heard about some stupid ass skin in Fortnite that my son's seen in a YouTube video that some guy says, you can get this if you just hit like or subscribe, or buy this.
Yep.
But I really think that is the way it should. I hate loot boxes because they don't disclose the odds. And when you see streams, like I said, you don't realize that the odds are in a lot of these top streamers' favors to get that. They have said odds are in their favors. They'll stack the odds for when they get stuff. I think knowing what you're getting is important. I think now they have the expansive catalog to do it. You can have a rotating item shop, to be able to, I want to buy this week or this that week. I hate loot boxes. I really do. Maybe it's because I always got something stupid in cereal when I was little.
You didn't get the decoder ring that you wanted.
Did not.
From those box of corn pops.
But what say everybody else?
Transparency is important.
Yeah.
And if you're going to hide all this behind it and then go in front of the United Kingdom's parliament and lie, then you deserve the ban hammer. Looks at EA.
I think that
True.
loot boxes, I think is where sometimes things get kind of muddled up a little bit. Like loot boxes, they don't make any sense, especially with what some companies try and do to implement and kind of push the bar, like how far can we go? How much can we get away with? Battlefront 2. Sorry. And, and as opposed to like, I don't care for loot boxes. Now, on that flip side, microtransactions, I think that sometimes people, when they hear loot boxes, they shove microtransactions into that.
Yeah.
Just being a podcaster, especially talking about games and learning more about the industry, like understanding more, like games have been $60 for a very long time. I remember when they were $50. I remember when they were a little bit more than that, a little bit less than that. And probably just because our ages, we understand, like, in order for people to make these bigger and bigger things, it's going to cost more. So they have to find their business. They got to find some revenue stream. And I think that microtransactions can be good. Unfortunately, there are a lot of greedy corporate executives that try and impose their will and try and get as much money out of the little guys they can. And I think that sometimes because of that, those get roped into the stigma of loot boxes.
Yeah.
And while I don't think loot boxes, the fact that you're going to get this random box, you don't know what it is, you don't know what your chances of getting anything in there are, and you could be grinding forever and ever, suck. Like, I love Overwatch. The loot boxes, every time I level, mean almost nothing to me because I don't expect anything in there.
Yep.
Every once in a while, I might see a purple. Like, ooh, what kind of skin is this? Oh my goodness. But I think like microtransactions, I think that I don't play Fortnite, but I think Fortnite has a pretty good microtransaction system with like letting you buy some skins and stuff like that. I think that's totally fine as long as you're very clear. I think that helps people. Like, hey, if I'm willing to part with $5, I can get that John Wick skin in Fortnite because I know what I'm getting. But it's microtransactions in and of themselves. For me, it depends on the implementation. I know, like, kind of corporate guys can easily take advantage of those and try and squeeze people for every penny they're worth. But there are some good examples out there of good microtransactions. And it kind of sucks sometimes that when you have developers that have those out there and they're being honest and saying, hey, we're just trying to make sure we can break even, people lambast them just because they kind of tie them in. These are like loot boxes. Ah.
And I think what's interesting, and I want to push you over to Jay because I love Jay's take on this stuff. I think he's the only person I know to never buy a loot box.
No, fuck your loot boxes. I don't want them.
It's also, it wasn't really highlighted too much, but Epic purchased Psyonix, the makers of Rocket League. So the timing of how that whole thing worked, I thought was interesting too. Epic is very transparent. And I think you brought up 110%, like, hey, flag, everybody needs to realize there is a difference between microtransaction and loot boxes, because now that I think about it, I think the two go hand in hand sometimes when you're talking about them in passing, but you really need to discern the difference between the two. But the way they do it, they are hugely successful. Trust me, I'm going to talk about it, but people pay a lot of money for the skins there. And
they do.
They're very upfront about it. And I really hope that's the kind of direction that stuff goes. Now, what's funny, well, not funny, but you take somebody like my wonderful co-host. Are you there? You're there because I want to do that thing. You're over there. Doesn't buy them. I buy them on occasion. I don't want to talk about it. But anyways, Jay manages to basically avoid the whole thing. Jay, what do you have to say?
I'm not really concerned with boxes, mainly cosmetic stuff. So, like, if I'm playing Fortnite or if I'm playing a game like that where, you know, they offer, I mean, like, I'm a huge Destiny, but I never buy silver, never buy ornaments, I never buy anything like that. It just never concerned me. I don't know. That's why I never really have a take on it, because it's just something I've never been involved in.
Do you think your age has anything to do with it? And I'm being totally serious. Not calling you out, but Do you think age has anything to do with that kind of stuff? Because you don't place a real big monetary value on what your character looks like.
No, I'll admit this. If I got a couple dollars PayPal skin or a dance or something in a like an emote or something in a game and it's $4, I might throw it at it just to have it. But I normally don't do the whole battle pass thing. I normally don't do season pass. I mean, season passes, yeah, like for Destiny, I will just to keep up with the content. But when it comes to actual, like I said, like cosmetic stuff and stuff, I just never been into it. I understand creators understand that that's the way they make money on top of the price of the game and everything. But I don't know. It just never really concerned me at all. Like I said, I could buy a candy bar if I wanted a candy bar. Not I don't need to spend that dollar on a skin or.
Candy bars are cool.
I know they are, right?
Speaking of which, I don't know if you know this yet, Jay, but your son got a really nice piece of gear in Apex.
Yeah, Luke, my son Luke just messaged me and he said that he got the heirloom for Wraith and he was all proud of it. And like I said, teach their own. If you guys want to spend money on skins, go ahead. It's just not for me.
Fun fact about that, there are a couple of Reddit posts of people who have spent between upwards of $500 because that's apparently the odds of getting it is by the time you spend $500, you'll get this set.
That's, I don't know.
That's why
I never understood. You could buy with $500.
That's what I don't understand though. Even about
you could have WoW for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hear people complain about loot boxes. Say, like when you guys were talking transparencies and all that stuff, and that's cool. Like I said, that's what stuff you guys need to know. Like I said, I never got into it. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people who dropped a lot of money, probably Dan included, on games and skins. But I don't know. Maybe it is my age and maybe, but like I said, I could play Fortnite without a skin and play with the stock characters. It wouldn't bother me at all. I'd still play the game.
I do it with default.
Yeah, I am. I do it with Fortnite too. I mean, I've never spent on Apex Legends. I've never spent a cent on Apex Legends. I don't care. I love the game. I play it.
Apex is an interesting case though because it's free. Well, and obviously Fortnite is too. So I really I don't want to say inclined, but I am more willing to support games like that are free to play, and I'm not being gated with a $60 entry cost and then have all these other things shoved down my throat for $10 to $20.
Well, and that's a lot of people have that same viewpoint because, like, from a business standpoint, I'm sure they can tell, like, oh, we'll make a whole lot more money if we make the game free and offer microtransactions and loot boxes for people to buy, as opposed to putting it out at a flat rate. And then you get everything unlocked. And it's just. It's business.
Well, see, like even I'll say even like with Fortnite, like I have bought battle passes before. I said I'll have some money in my PayPal and I'll throw it down and I'll buy a battle pass. But the thing is, like I know you can get the battle pass and then you can go up to level 99 and get everything for that season, and that's fine. I make it to like season 10, or I make it to like level 10, and that's it. And so I get like all the default skins that you get with the battle pass, and then I get a couple other things, and then I'm good. Was that worth $20? Maybe.
And it feels like a job.
You put in there,
The second you get a battle pass, for me at least, like I bought an Apex battle pass this time around, and I don't know that I would do it again. I bought a Rocket League battle pass, but I blew that out of the water like the first 2 weeks. I had that damn thing maxed in 2 weeks. But like it almost feels like on Apex like an obligation I've got to get 100. I'm not playing other things because I want to hurry up and level this battle pass up. And it had like no kidding thinking the other day, like, I don't think I'm going to buy another battle pass for this because it shouldn't feel like a job. Everybody's going to get the same stuff. There's nothing unique about it.
You got kids though. That's where you're down. Yeah, because I mean, Fortnite games like Fortnite, everything, they cater to the kids. They cater to because kids want those. Kids want the skins. Kids want emotes. They're going to get their money out of their parents or whatever. And, that's like the new allowance is like, oh, if you go mow the lawn, I'll give you 200 V-Bucks.
My 6-year-old nephew knows what Fortnite is, and he does not play video games. My sister does not let him play games, but he knows what Fortnite is. He knows what Minecraft is.
Yep.
And Roblox. The other one is big. The other big one is Roblox.
Roblox is kind of cool, though.
That's
I'm not
another
going to
big
lie. They get some pretty cool games. I play with my son. Another cross-play game. And computer right here, Xbox over there, because my son's just like me. He loves his games, and we really got to be, especially during school time, that number of hours they get to play and whatnot, we really dwindled down. Roblox is like, it's pretty cool, though. Like, the stuff you can do in there, anyways. Yeah, it's the Wild West. What I was going to say...
Trying to thought.
It is a really good. VR. So it's this interesting thing that VR is in right now, and we just talked about the free to play games. So VR, I saw this article, and I've got it saved somewhere. VR is in an interesting place right now. Just talking the free to play stuff. You've got a handful of games that are cracking millions of dollars. You've got Job Simulator, like everybody knows what that game is, you know, if you're familiar with VR, and a handful of other ones. But consultants that are kind of getting into the VR space are telling these developers now, everybody wants to charge $29.99, $19.99 when you launch a game on VR. Let me tell you, there's a game that's probably better that's free, either through Steam, Viveport, or something like that. There's a real interesting thing going on with the VR stuff right now, too. And it seems like the free-to-play aspect where, hey, absorb the cost up front. You know, it's free to play right now. Sell them other things later down the line, the hook, line, and sinker thing. That is not just like going on with PC games right now and other stuff. That's going into other markets like VR. And what are your guys' thoughts on the free to play concept and games as a service in the end?
Overall or in VR?
Between like everything, because now we're starting to see the same thing in VR. You can get some fantastic games in VR. You want to continue or you want to get that other stuff, they monetize little things in it. So it's not just Xbox, you know, PlayStation, PC. VR is kind of its own little thing, especially when you see a guy in a picture with a Tesla on the side of the road playing with a Quest. Really odd. But that stuff is just happening everywhere, it seems. There's a real big push for the free-to-play now, pay me later kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Free ain't free forever.
Yeah, because games as a service could be very different. Like, Destiny is technically games as a service. You know, you've got, like, your little pay stuff in there, but you buy the game, and then you can play it indefinitely and keep buying expansion packs. But you're still money up front.
Yeah.
Then you get games like a lot of the mobile trash, and it's, you know, hey, free to download, but oh, you ran out of Power Stones, buy these.
Yeah.
You know, and there's such a wide field there that I don't know if I can give you a proper opinion both ways.
But I feel like to continue playing with your friends in Destiny is, especially with where they're going with the seasons, in order to kind of keep up and keep going, you're gonna have to keep ponying out that money, because if you miss that window on that season, it's not coming back. You know, it's not like, well, I'm going to pay it later and then I'll go back and play that content. You know what I mean?
So if it's PvE content, it'll still be there.
I thought they said it was like once it comes and goes, like it's gone.
Well, some of the loot rewards may be gone.
Okay.
If it's anything story related, that'll still be there.
Well, it's something that's very interesting with, and I was going to bring up Destiny, because you have Destiny that, like Will, like you said, is traditionally games as a service model, and is moving away from that. Hey, you've got to buy these, you know, this bulk expansion pack, season pass for $25, $30, to a point where their entry level will be free to play, where they have new light and you can play a large chunk of the game and a fair amount of content for free. And at least from what I've seen, because one thing I like about Bungie right now is that they're actually giving us tons of information. I dare say maybe too much information. I don't know if you guys
I read
or
This Week at Bungie every week.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So, Jay, I'm sure you've read through all like the director's cuts from Luke Smith.
Yep.
Like the things that the season, instead of you paying one bulk upfront price, it's $10 a season. And if you miss a season, you can just, number one, you can just pay $10 for the current season and jump right in. so you can immediately go into whatever light level and get that gear that's going on there. They have said that some of the exotics that are tied to seasons, you will get a chance to get them, but if you don't pay for the season, it'll be something like, okay, well,
Kill
you
7
bought
million
season
Thrall.
11, but you didn't get season 12, and there was this really cool pistol you wanted.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to get that pistol since you didn't pay for that season until maybe a couple of months down the road.
Like Zer or something like that.
Yeah, or even really just like, hey, after 6 months, we're going to unlock this quest for everyone instead of just for the season pass holders. So you'll actually get a chance to do that. But the big one, like the fact that you can piecemeal your seasons, you're not tied to, which I know has kind of sucked, is you buy Destiny's season pass and you have those $30, $25-$30 for the whole year of content. Instead of doing that, you can say, oh, I want to pay $10 for this season, but then I stop playing Destiny. So I'm out for 2, 3, 6 months plus. I come back. My friends are like, oh, the new expansion's coming out. You got to come back in. I can come back in and say, you know, you have that feeling, man, I can't catch up. I'm not sure. You can say, oh, okay, here, let me pay $10. I'll get to unlock the current season, and now I can start getting the new light level gear that's coming out. Destiny's very interesting. It's very in an interesting place right now, and I'm curious to see when Shadowkeep launches to see how these changes come out, because they're getting a battle pass more or less with their seasonal stuff, and I'm curious to see how their free to play version of the game affects new people coming in, and maybe a couple of months, a year down the road, revisiting like, how was the strategy for seasons in this content successful?
True.
Because I don't have a problem with games as a service, as long as they treat me as a gamer with respect, treat my time with respect, because I know that really, and Destiny started getting better at it now, but like I remember when we played, we got not Shadowkeep. We got Forsaken.
Yep.
We got the season pass. We played the first season of the Forge.
That was so frustrating.
It was because they raised the light level, but you had to grind in order to even play the new content to try and even get to the top end light level.
And my favorite part was they say, hey, hit this light level. We hit it, and we can only do stage 1.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, you need this for all 3 stages.
And for both of us, it was basically like, okay, we're done with Destiny for a while. We put it away. And now coming back in, I know we've picked it back up recently to get ready for Shadowkeep. It almost felt night and day. Like you jump in and all of a sudden, like, oh, do these couple of quests and you'll have light level that puts you on par with everybody else. And I think that for games as a services, especially when you have free to play games, and I think in this time frame now, because we're so inundated with not only games, lots of games, but great games like Borderlands and Gears and Call of Duties and all the games we've talked about tonight, that to respect gamers' times, especially if you're games as a service, like having that free to play option, have your revenue for your core audience that's going to be there, but have your free to play option for new players coming in, and have that option with your post-launch content so that people, if you do step away, you can come back for little to nothing and still play with your friends that have been playing the entire time. I think, not going off on that tangent, but I think that if World of Warcraft had a similar tactic or precedent, maybe more people will be playing the World of Warcraft.
True.
I don't know how many more people could possibly play it. My fucking Discord right now says World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft. I'm just kidding. No, I agree. And I think you hit a really good point. Luke Smith has been like really detailed. Like very interesting to kind of see a lot of the stuff going on, and the stuff honestly that, you know, we as, I don't want to say day-to-day gamers, but as gamers don't really see or think about. But it seems like a total shift in climate and atmosphere at Bungie since the Activision split. And I think that was one of the things that really stuck out, you know, through some of those deep dives that he was talking about, was really not robbing time from the player. You make everything meaningful. And I remember I've dumped money into Destiny since Destiny Alpha back when PlayStation, back whenever.
I was right there with you. Hold on. For the video.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For people who don't know, this is the ghost you got for the collector's edition of Destiny 1.
Absolutely. And there were seasons I dropped the $30 to play. I played one of the events or two of the events. Like the Drifters thing was just like completely, what is this, man? Like, this isn't what I came for. But the way they're kind of doing the episodic stand in, play, or sit this one out. But the onboarding for now, I'm not having to play for 8 hours by myself to get 150 more light to join all my friends, I think is the really big difference maker. And I really hope this time my Guardian carries over, because if they lie to me again, I'm going to lose my shit. I remember that big lie. Oh, that was so crushing.
Oh, yeah.
But I like where Destiny's headed, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And if they don't bring back the raids, like, that's the biggest thing. I can't believe we have not seen a resurgence in the original raid.
Not even just that. I would love all of the original strikes and just have an original strike playlist.
Oh.
Like, and it just scales your light to what the light would have been at max then.
Yep.
I would be 100% down.
And that's free content they have out there.
Like literally just export as .destiny 2. I know that's not how it works.
That's how it works. No, they do it.
You leave the loot cave, but everything else. Yeah.
Actually, I would be okay with bringing all the old zones back too.
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, yes, going over here, you know you're going to be dropped down to this light level. Yes.
Yep. And Bearded Bee literally just started Destiny tonight. Hope it lives up to what I've seen from people playing. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bearded Bee, what platform?
That is good for you. You are in for a treat. Ever since Taken King, that thing has been on another level.
Agreed.
Season of the Drifter I hated, but
Bearded Bee, you're gonna have to hit me up, man.
There you, Jay's PS4 too. There you go.
I play PS4 and PC.
Yep.
Well, I have all the platforms now.
So
Xbox, PlayStation, doesn't matter.
I'll have them all October 1st. I was so pissed they pushed that
There you
thing
go.
over. I'm waiting. Mouse and keyboard, baby. I'm going. I hope they bring. Oh my God, I haven't played it in so long. The Lighthouse, because I will go to the Lighthouse on mouse and keyboard. Mark my words. It was never going to happen with an Xbox controller. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. PC's a whole different place. Because like 150 frames a second, all that.
Bring it on.
I just got my Recluse not that long ago and playing on PC, and it's insanity.
That's cool. Well, this guy right here says that I can pay him $10 to use this program, and I never miss a shot. So let's go that route. But I have literally nothing else I could possibly add. Does anybody else have anything?
This is a record.
Dude, it is. It is a fun one. I think we should do these every other week.
Dude, yep. New co-hosts. We're a foursome now.
That's it.
We've just adopted you.
We're just co-opting. We just bring everybody in.
We're the more rocket cast.
One more rocket punch.
The more rocket games. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Please tell everybody where they can find you for those who aren't looking at those beautiful faces right now.
Oh man,
RocketPunchGo.com.
There you go. We make it easy. If you forget any of the other stuff, you forget where our Twitter handle is, even though it's literally in the video here. RocketPunchGo.com. All of our content, all of our stuff is at home right there.
Right there.
And in the show notes, if you swipe left, Is it swipe left or swipe right? Usually it's swipe left to get the show notes. Make sure you're not on Tinder or any of those other things. Be in the podcast app, swipe left. You'll see the show notes. You'll see a direct link. I'll put it AHREF in there for you. Whole 9 yards. Click that. You'll find them. Thank you once again so much for joining us. We will be actually on the opposite side soon.
Yes, you will.
Look forward to that one.
Soon. I'm excited.
It's like, hey, what'd you say? All right, hold on. Hey, babe, when's dinner? All right, cool. Go ahead with the question. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited.
Actually,
I have all the hand rubbing to do.
There you go. You better have a big old bottle of
also
lotion
nice.
next to you while you're doing it too.
Hey, whoa! It ain't that kind of show.
It is.
Whoa.
We got to make sure we change our tone too. We got to make sure we get a list of your bylaws and what we are allowed to say, because I have to have it posted on my monitor over here, and I'm going to have to go through a mental checkpoint before I talk, just because that's how we are. Yes, and Stream Huntsville on Discord. I'll make sure, because even I know that at this point, just from the Rocket Punch Twitter. That's a big deal.
Good.
Yeah, damn right.
Good.
Well, thank you once again. As always, Jay, you want to take it out?
Yeah, I'll take it out. This is going to be one record books for Dan to have to edit.
Not even
So-
done
Yay,
posting it.
good.
Thanks for the follow.
Hashtag pray for Dan.
Yeah, that is. Let's get that trending. Yay.
Yeah, we'll get that trending. We will see you in 2 weeks unless we see you before.
Oh no, we've been seeing it before on something else though.
Okay.
The one we kick our feet up.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys relax.
we're just-
We'll do the heavy lifting.
Yep.
Thanks for the follows, Lupine, Llama. I'm probably messing the names up. I'm not very good at that. Thank you once again. And as
Definitely.
always, thanks. See ya.
Yes. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
I
Bye.